So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and open your photo with the white background in it. And let me just kind of get up to the point you're at. So your photo should look something like this. Please forgive this big stripe that I had taken out on Nikki here. That kind of happened with my layers by accident, but yours will look normal. So if you look over, let's open your layers menu. Again, if you don't have your layers, you go to Window and open up Layers. And I believe what you have right now is your mask of your photo. And again, this is your photo, not Nikki, but your photo. And most of you will probably have a layer underneath it that is white for white background. The first thing we need to do is change your photo black and white. So to do this, select the layer of your photograph, okay? And that's the photograph with your mask. Press on that layer, and the layer should turn light gray. And then hit Control U for hue and saturation. So the Control button in the letter U. Pull your saturation all the way down to -100, and you should see your photo turn black and white. So please go ahead and do that and hit OK. The next thing you want to do is kind of look at your photo, and if it is overexposed or underexposed anywhere, go ahead and fix that. To fix it, you will select your lasso tool and then go to probably a pretty loose feather, like maybe a 100, and then select any area that is too dark or too light, and you'll hit Control L for levels, and then you can adjust so that it shows up a little better. Okay, so please touch up any of the areas on your photograph. Like his face is a little too light. I'm going to darken him up a little bit. Please fix any areas of the photo that need some better highlights and lowlights and shadows. Now we want to start organizing our folders. So look in your Layers menu and look for the Folder button. Press the folder. The bottom-most layer we are going to call Background. Okay, and if your layer didn't show up there, like if it showed up on top of your photo, move the background layer to the bottom. I still have my white background layer back here, but let's just kind of keep that background. The folder should be right under the picture. Now let's add another folder. So press your folder button, double click on the title, and this one should say Circle Shape. Click the folder again. This folder should be on top of your photograph, and it should be called Shirt. Click the folder again. This folder should be on top of Shirt, and it should be called, well, you might not have a hat, but if you have glasses or anything like that, or some other, if your person is wearing a hat or a headband, maybe you can call it that, glasses or headband or hat. If you don't have any of that stuff, though, the final layer will be called Shapes. Or I'm sorry, the final folder will be called Shapes. So make sure your folders are in the same order as these. Background on the bottom, then Circle Shape, then your photograph of your person turned black and white, then the Shirt folder, then the Shapes folder. Now what you want to do is we want to open up all of your pattern images. So what I mean by that is you should see up, you have to hit Control O to open. Go ahead and open up all of your different files that you've made with all the different colors. Okay. So let's start with the some of the background ones first. And again, just so you know how to manipulate these images, you're going to have a lot here, and you can see on the right there, if you don't see them all on tabs on the top, if you press these double arrows, you can see all of the current Photoshop files you have open. So I'm just going to start with maybe a back one. Okay. Now these should be JPEGs, and JPEGs mean they're compressed into one layer. To select all of it, hit Control A, and you will see the dashed line around your image. Once you see that, you know you've selected everything. Now you're going to copy it, so hit Control C. Now go back to your photograph, press background, make sure you are on the background layer. You're going to hit a new layer, the plus button, and you should see that layer pop up under your background. Go ahead and hit Control V. And it says, are you sure you want to convert colors, blah, 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 just hit OK. All right. So you're going to see your background show up. And if it bothers you to see your photograph, if it's kind of confusing, press the eyeball and it will hide your photograph. It might be easier to do that while you're importing all your backgrounds in. You'll notice your background's a little too small. To fix this, go to your arrow tool on the menus, go to your arrows, and hit Control T to transform. You'll see the squares pop up around your image. Only pull from the corner. If you pull from the side, you'll mishmash the proportions. So pull from the corner and enlarge it so it fits the whole page. And when it hits from the whole page, click somewhere outside the box to set it and you're good. So let's go to your next image. So here's my JPEG of my Liquify. I'm going to repeat the process and hit Control A to copy, Control A to select all, Control C to copy, and then I go back to mine. Your layer 2 should be selected. I'm going to press the plus button to hit a new layer and hit Control V to paste. And if this window comes up, just hit OK. This one happens to fit great. I don't have to resize it, so I'm fine. So let's kind of see what we have so far. If I put my picture, press the eyeball next to my picture, I can already see, oh, okay, there's my photograph. And then when I click the eyeballs, I can see that I'm, hiding them. So what I want you to do now is go ahead and import at least 4 other pictures into your background layer. I'm going to pause right here, wait for you to catch up, paste 4 different of your backgrounds. You can paste more if you want, but go ahead and create several more layers into your background. Now let's work on your circle shape. So please select the folder called Circle Shape, and you're going to create a new layer. So press the plus button, and you should see this layer pop up underneath Circle Shape. Go over to your toolbar, and you want to select your elliptical marquee tool. It looks like a circle with a dashed line. If you don't see it, it's because it's hiding behind the rectangular marquee tool. So press on that and then select the elliptical. To draw a perfect square, hold your Shift key down, and then you'll be able to draw a perfect circle. If you don't hold the Shift key, you might end up drawing an oval, which will look a little funny. And if you don't do it right the first time, you can try it again. If you want to move the location of the circle after you draw it, you can just press with your arrow in the center of the circle and move it to wherever you want it to be. So get a good size circle that you like. And you should definitely be able to see the perimeter of the circle outside your person's head. Your person might extend outside the circle, and that's okay. Then what you want to do is let's get your paint bucket and just take the color black for right now. And let's paint in that circle black. So again, this should be in your folder Circle Shape. And if you press the eyeball, you'll hide your circle. What we're going to do now is we are going to we're going to create a mask out of this circle so that we can see more patterns behind it. So make sure your background layer is open. Let's go to the first layer. The easiest thing to do is drag this top layer in your background over the plus sign. And you're going to see it creates a copy. Move this copy to above your circle layer. Do it again with the next pattern, okay? And if it's easier, you can hide the patterns as you go so you can see what you are kind of doing here. So I'm going to create another leopard one. I select the next pattern in my background. I drag it on top of the plus sign. It creates a copy, and then I'm going to move it to the circle shape. And again, you might have to hide these so it doesn't get too confusing while you're looking at it. Go ahead and do this with all of your different backgrounds. So right now, in my circle shape folder, you will see all of your patterns. But you'll notice it doesn't show in the circle. To do that, we have to create a mask. So what you want to do is highlight your first texture pattern over your circle. In my case, it's this blue and yellow thing. There are two ways of doing this. One way is that you can hold your Alt button down, and then if you take your mouse and just kind of put it over the line between the two layers, you're going to see this icon with the arrow and a square show up. If you click on that, that will make a layer for you, or a mask for you. It's going to force whatever that pattern is into the shape below it, in this case, a circle. The other way to make a texture fit into a mask is select your layer, and with your right mouse click on that layer, and you will see a window come up. Scroll down until you see Create Clipping Mask, and select Create Clipping Mask. And the same thing will happen. You see, if I now press the eyeball on the zebra pattern shows up. Let's try that one more time with your next texture pattern. Right click, scroll down until you see Create Clipping Mask, select that, and if you press your eyeball in the layer, you'll see now that you can, whatever pattern you want will look pretty good inside your circle. So please go ahead and do this for all of your shapes. So this is the end of this tutorial. We'll go on to the other layers in a next tutorial. Just let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.